The American worker, proud, tough, hard-working.
And tired.
These jobs are killing us.
Outsourcing, take them away.
It's a miracle. They moved our factory to a third world nation.
Now I have more time to play the lottery. Ka-ching!
Hey, America, why not let some of the other countries carry their share of the load? You can, with the best kind of sourcing, outsourcing.
Good afternoon, my name is Sebastian R, and I'm here to discuss to what extent has outsourcing the present-day international workforce affected American workers' job opportunities and unemployment rates. So outsource, as defined by Google, is to obtain goods or a service from an outside or foreign source. So why is outsourcing a problem? As you can see, this is a graph of a sum of American companies and the different jobs that they outsource. And right here, disaster recovery is at 37% outsourced. That means 1/3 of all disaster recovery workers are working for American companies, but in countries outside of the US. As you can see right here, that same job that's being outsourced is earning 92% extra profits. So it's a highly effective way for American companies to make a lot of extra money. Now, why is it a problem? Outsourcing removes a lot of jobs from the US economy. China alone has taken 32 million jobs from 2001 to 2013 from the US, according to a report released by the Economic Policy Institute, and 3/4 of those jobs were in manufacturing. Now, what are some solutions to this problem? The first solution would be to implement reforms and different welfare policies. Now, the problem with this is that new laws and bills take a very long time to be passed, and a lot of people aren't satisfied with them. Even in current day society, a lot of people live off welfare and they do not contribute anything to society. And so adding more welfare to that wouldn't really help that problem. But to pass a law, you have to start with the bill and introduce it to a committee of work. And that's to be put on a calendar, passed through the House of Representatives, and then it has to go through budget, engrossment, committee work, debate and amendment, enrollment, and final approval by the president. And along this entire path, there are several areas that could cause the bill to be pushed back to the beginning or just not passed at all. Now this chart displays that over 100 million people in the US are now receiving some form of welfare. And if we continue on this path, it's expected to grow continually over the next 20 years, 80%. And if we would slow the growth rate to simply 60% instead of 80%, that would save the US economy $1 trillion. The second solution I have to present is that we adopt the German form of economy and worker training. As you can see, based on GDP, Germany is well ahead of all other countries in competition. GDP is gross domestic product, is the market value of all final goods and services produced within a certain time period. Now, why is this a problem? Well, first off, it would be very difficult to introduce these new reforms into an American market because they're very German. A lot of Americans are very proud people, and it would, like I talked about earlier with the welfare bills being passed, it would take a long time for these reforms to be implemented into the US. And also, it's highly expensive. Siemens is a German company, and training workers and training apprentices in their country only costs 25,000 USD to 80,000 USD, while training American employees in the North Carolina base of commands would cost $170,000. So it's exponentially more. Now the final solution, and probably the best solution, would be to integrate humans and robotics together. As you can see, the number of industrial robots per 1 million hours worked. Germany has the highest amount of robots out of any of these countries, and they also have the highest GDP out of any of these countries. So there is a correlation between them producing more for their mass market and the amount of robots that they have. And as you can see here, the robot shipments to the US are displayed by these bars, and the line displays how many jobs are in the US. And when you look at the chart, you can see that no US jobs are being lost by the production of robots, but instead it's increasing steadily together. Now what this would mean for American workers is that they would simply have to adapt to different work environments. Instead of this man putting on the door himself, he has to learn how to operate the robot so it can do the job for him. And this can be a positive thing for many manufacturing workers because a lot of the jobs that they do are very dangerous. So using robots would eliminate the danger of doing many of these jobs. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, hold on one sec. All right, 2 questions for you. First up, how valid and reliable were the sources? And specifically talk about the stimulus sources that you used for the presentation.
So with all the sources, I wanted to make sure that I use credible departments like the labor union and things like that. I didn't want to use sources that could seem biased in any way towards or against what I was trying to prove.
All right, and last question. If you have more time, what additional research would you do to help you relate to this particular issue?
Like the chart I had earlier, I like the fact that it displayed information that was predicted to be in the future. So I think I would have liked to find more evidence to prove that this plan of action would continue to work as the years go by.
Okay. Breathe.